Welcome back to 1982 as we continue our look at the Masters of the Universe toy line by Mattel. Previously, we took a look at the Battle Ram, a powerful ancient vehicle used by the Masters to defend Castle Grayskull from the evil of Skeletor. Now we are down to the final toy of Series 1, and we've saved the best for last. A hero so popular, his name has become synonymous with the toy line. Today, we're taking a look at He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe, here on Creed's Collection. Hey, welcome to a very special episode of Creed's Collection, episode 100. In honor of this milestone, today we are checking out He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. He-Man has multiple origin stories. However, in my opinion, only two really matter. And we'll start with his first origin, detailed in the included mini-comics from 1982. In this original version, He-Man was the most powerful warrior of his jungle tribe, who took it upon himself to rid Eternia of evil. He immediately happens upon and saves an early version of the sorceress, and she, sensing his honorable nature and great power, gifts him ancient technology, including a chest garment that enhances He-Man's already great strength. He-Man then becomes the protector of Castle Grayskull and its spirit, and fends off Skeletor and his minions. This version was used very loosely for the much maligned 1987 Masters of the Universe film. The second and by far the most popular origin for He-Man comes from the cartoon He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. In this version, Prince Adam, the son of King Randor and Queen Marlena, possesses a magic sword of power. When he holds the sword aloft and proclaims, "By the power of Grayskull," he and his pet tiger Cringer are transformed into He-Man and Battlecat, the protectors of the secrets of Grayskull. This version is much lighter and more child-friendly than the dark mini-comics, which were obviously inspired by Conan the Barbarian and the art of Frank Frazetta. And now that we know a little bit more about He-Man and his origins, let's go ahead and take a closer look. I think it's safe to say that He-Man is one of the most iconic barbarian characters of all time. And I refer to him as a barbarian because that was the original intent in the mini-comics, which I far prefer over the cartoon. I don't like Prince Adam or Cringer, and I don't like the transforming back and forth. As I've mentioned in my previous Masters videos, the first wave figures had soft heads, and my He-Man is no exception. Now here on his chest is the power garment that was given to him by the sorceress in his origin comic, and this enhances his already great strength. He-Man also has bracers on both of his wrists, but for some reason they chose not to paint them. And speaking of paint, if you look down here you can see that the tops of his boots are not fully painted in and that some of the fur is actually flesh color still. As we come around to the back of He-Man, you can see how his power garment is attached, and also on his lower back, that is his copyright information. I do want to point out something odd about the armor clasps. If you notice these two right here, they look like they have spots where they could be tighter and made smaller. However, this is as tight as you can make it, so the extra slots are kind of a mystery. But as long as we're here, let's go ahead and take a look at his copyright information. Mattel Incorporated, 1981, made in Taiwan. Now let's take a look at He-Man's articulation. He's got the rubber bands in his hips here, which allow his legs to flop around a little. He can still stand, but not quite like he used to. I'm glad I have that action figure stand. He's also got the spring-loaded waist, which allows the Masters of the Universe power punch. The arms can go around all the way, full 360, and of course the head can turn left and right. And that is it. That covers all of He-Man's articulation. Next, we're going to take a look at He-Man's spring-loaded power punch. So the spring right here in his waist allows you to take his fist, pull it back, and he throws a pretty strong punch, which we're now going to demonstrate on Skeletor. Oh, not again. Oh, that is so satisfying. Alright, it's accessory time, starting with He-Man's shield. I really like the rivets here on the outside. I also like that it's dimensional, that it's kind of raised up and you can see the orange beneath. Now here on the back side, this is where his hand and his wrist slip in so he can actually hold the shield. And he holds it pretty well. His hand goes into the handle and the little clip goes on his wrist, just like this. Next up is He-Man's battle axe, which I think is a fantastic accessory. I like that the handle has the ridging on it for extra texture. And if you flip it over on the back here, you can see some numbers, some sort of serial number, I'm sure, and then the Made in Taiwan stamp right there. I realized that He-Man's main weapon is his sword, but I have to say, I absolutely love this axe. It also fits in his hand perfectly, and it's very easy to put there. Now we're going to take a look at He-Man's legendary sword, which is actually one half of the Sword of Power from the mini comics. So if you look back here, there's a tab, and you can fit together Skeletor and He-Man swords, which we will check out in just a second. You can also see another Taiwan stamp and some sort of serial number there on the back. Now, just like the battle axe, He-Man's sword fits perfectly and is easy to put in and take out of his hand. Now we're going to go ahead and combine the two swords. As you can see, there's a slot on the back of Skeletor's and a tab on He-Man's. So you just take them and stick them together like so, and you have the Sword of Power. The swords combined are the key to Castle Grayskull's Jaw Bridge, and if you'd like to see a little bit more about that, please check out my Castle Grayskull video.
What are you doing? Don't stick those together. Oh my goodness, just give me my sword back. Now I'm gonna have to wash this. It's gonna have He-Man cooties all over it. Oh, thanks for nothing, Creed.
And now for our Skeletor size comparison. As you can see, He-Man and Skeletor are made for each other. Two sides of the same coin. Light and darkness, yin and yang, forever locked in a battle for the fate of Eternia. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my toy retrospective for He-Man from the 1982 toy line, Masters of the Universe by Mattel. He-Man and the Masters will always have a special place in my heart, because even though I had Mego dolls and Star Wars figures before that, they were introduced to me by my older brothers, and this I discovered all on my own. And if this is your first video, or you've seen all 100 of my episodes, either way, thank you so much for your support, and here's to 100 more. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a thumbs up, and if you have any thoughts, please leave a comment. I love reading and responding to them. And while you're at it, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it, and it would help my channel grow. I do a retrospective on a toy from my vintage collection every Wednesday, so I hope to see you next week and every week after, here on Creed's Collection.